Hey there, Gina here, and I'm so excited that you've joined me for a step-by-step guide for creating a social media strategy for your bridal beauty business. So we all know there are so many moving parts to social media. So hopefully this is going to help you to understand social media a little bit better and create a really streamlined approach for your bridal beauty business. I am the founder of AGA Business Solutions. We are a digital marketing agency providing website design and full service social media. I'm also the founder of Simplify Your Socials, which is an amazing DIY platform that gives you the tools and the training you need to become your own social media manager. So, we're going to go ahead and jump in here and get started with step one, which is focusing on quality and consistency. So, that is starting with posting 3 static images a week. So, the first things that you really want to focus on when it comes to those 3 foundational posts a week is that you want to choose your best images that clearly showcase your work and you want to stay true to your brand aesthetic. So, whether your style is more glam, maybe it's a little bit more on the minimal side, or editorial, or something in between, you definitely want to make sure you're always choosing the best images and you're keeping your eye on the overall look and aesthetic of your grid as well. When someone sees your brand, you want to make sure that they instantly know what you're all about. And more importantly, you want to be able to answer the question when someone asks, is this person for me? Are they able to give me what I want and need? So let's talk for a minute about carousels versus posting a single image for those 3 foundational posts that you're posting a week. And really, this is going to come down to content. So if you're someone that's really good about getting those photos, having a lot of content, we're going to talk about this in a minute as far as creating a system. But if you've got a ton of content, then absolutely. Posting a carousel, it's only going to take you a few more seconds than posting a single image. So go for it. But if you are struggling a little bit with content, then it is best to post a single image. That way you're going to be able to repurpose and get tons of use out of limited content. So, I want to talk about one of the most important aspects of running a business, and that is systems. I have been able to successfully scale multiple businesses to well over 6 figures. And I'm telling you, the only way I've been able to do this is through systems. I'm obsessed with systems. So, every area of your business should have a system, and your social media is definitely no different. Systems are so important. So, I'm actually going to take a few minutes and talk about a few systems that are going to really help you to organize and streamline your social media. So let's talk first of all about setting up a system for getting content. Now, you're in a really unique position in that you are in an industry where you've got a plethora of content at your fingertips, but you need to get your hands on it. So, this system is actually going to start before the wedding or event. When you book a bride, when you book a client, find out who their photographer is. Ask them up front, do I have permission to use your images on my social media? Start following the photographer on social media. Maybe reach out with an email. Hey, we're going to be working on this wedding together. I'm looking forward to it. And then, of course, after the wedding day, reach out to both the bride and the photographer. That way, you're more likely to get those valuable images. So now that you've got your hands on that valuable content, you need to keep it organized. How many times have you gone to post something and you're like, where's that wedding? Where's that event? Where are those IG handles? So it's really important that you have a system for organizing that content. Now, on Simplify Your Socials, we've made this really easy for you. We've created a system that's going to keep all of your content organized. You're going to be able to find those images, those videos, those IG handles, those notes. And a really cool feature is that you're also going to be able to know when you posted from a collection and how many pieces of content you've posted. So it truly is the ultimate system to be able to repurpose your content. The next system I want to talk to you about really quickly is a system for scheduling. So, one of the best things you can do for your business to streamline your social media is to batch your posts and use a scheduling software. So, at Simplify Your Socials, we do include a dynamic scheduling platform as part of your membership. And the best part is that we're not just going to throw you the tool and wish you luck. We're actually going to train you how to use it like a pro. So you're going to have that information. We're either even going to videotape it for you so you'll be able to do it yourself or train someone in-house or a VA to do your socials. Again, like a pro, just like we do it to manage our social media clients. So we're almost done going over that first step, which is those 3 foundational posts, those quality, consistent posts. And I know I've spent a little time on this, but it's really important. It's important to have that foundation, and it's really important not to try to go from 0 to 100 all at once. That's why I wanted to give you these steps so you can gradually be adding on to them. Once you really have one step in place, then that's when you should move on to the next. So, the points that we've already covered with those 3 quality images posted 3 times a week. Another thing that you want to focus on is posting at optimal times. Now, this is really important because Meta really does look at that engagement, and that's going to be the most during those optimal times. So, you want to post at those times. And contrary to popular belief, there are no one size fits all optimal times. It is based on your brand. So that's another advantage of using a scheduling app like we have on our platform, Simplify Your Socials. You're going to be able to very quickly and easily post at those optimal times. Another thing that you're going to want to make sure you're doing for these foundational posts and really for all of your posts is tagging, mentioning, and collaborating. Really great way to gain more visibility, more engagement, and nurture relationships within the industry. And another bonus for using a scheduling app is it makes it really, really easy to add those tags, mentions, and collaborations. Another thing that's going to be much easier if you're using a scheduling app is to post to all social media platforms. So I know right now you're probably thinking, oh, I can barely post to Instagram. But with a scheduling software, it makes it super, super easy. You're already taking the time to organize your content, get the content, maybe create content. So make sure you're getting as much visibility as possible. I know for our clients, we post to pretty much every social media network platform. But the ones that are really going to get you the biggest bang for your buck are going to be Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Google Business. But again, use that scheduling app that's going to really help you to quickly and easily post to all the different social media platforms. So I know we've already gone through a lot already, but again, there's a lot of moving parts to social media. So I want to give you a little pro tip, and that's about relevance. So Meta and Google absolutely love relevance. And what I mean by that is that your image, your caption, your file name, your hashtags, your alt text, all of those things, if you can make them all relevant, really clean, that's going to really help your visibility and your engagement. And that's something we do for our social media clients as we make sure that they have really relevant posts that again, all of the elements are all matching and Meta and Google know exactly what that post is all about and exactly the right people to show it to. Another element that people wonder a lot about are hashtags. So our advice and pro tip is don't reinvent the wheel. Take the time ahead of time, and this is something that we do for all of our clients, and research your hashtags. So we have kind of a sweet spot that we look for. It's 1,000 to 150,000 posts. Anything above that, you're really going to start to get lost, especially if you have less than 10,000 followers. So finding hashtags in that sweet spot is really going to give you the best chance for the most visibility. So we create a master hashtag list of really carefully researched hashtags for specialty hashtags. And then if you are a location, of course, based business, then also having those location tags, and then finally putting a unique company hashtag at the end of your hashtag list. Okay, my final pro tip, and then we're going to do a quick recap of step 1 and then get into the next steps to build on those 3 foundational posts is captions. So don't get too hung up on captions. I know it's always like you're sitting there trying to figure out what to say. Obviously, just, speak to your client Don't be too salesy. Add in those calls to action that inspire engagement, either likes or shares or reaching out for information. It's kind of fun and a good idea to add maybe some education, some tips and tricks and trends within the caption. And then probably my biggest pro tip is to use Chat GPT, but use it effectively. I know that most chat sounds very AI, doesn't sound too realistic or like something that you would write. One of the things, and it's probably one of my favorite features of Simplify Your Socials, is we will actually create a custom AI assistant for you. So it's going to be programmed so it doesn't sound like a robot. It sounds like a real person. It's going to be plugged in with all of your brand information, your brand voice, your products, your services, and you can literally just upload a photo. You don't even need a prompt and click go, and it will create the perfect caption options for you. We also plug it in with all of those carefully researched hashtags. So if for no other reason, if that's something that appeals to you, I definitely recommend that you check out Simplify Your Socials. And of course, you can reach out if you have any questions about that. So to quickly recap, you're going to implement those organized systems. So important to staying consistent and streamlining your social media. Focus on quality. I always like to say that you're only as good as your worst piece of content. That doesn't mean that your work is bad. That just means maybe it's not a good representation of your brand. You feel like I've got to post something. No, it's better to have fewer posts and focus on that quality. So hopefully you have enough content to at least stay consistent with those 3 posts a week. Remember to make those really optimized and relevant and post at those optimal times. You're going to batch and schedule. Again, one of the best things you can do for your business is using some kind of scheduling app. And instead of just winging it all the time, having a plan and posting out 2 weeks ahead or a month ahead. And this is going to be your foundation. So I mentioned it before. Don't try to go from 0 to 100. You haven't posted in 3 months and all of a sudden you want to post, 3 posts and 5 reels and 10 stories and do all of this. So just get comfortable doing those 3 posts a week consistently. And now I'm going to go ahead and go into the next steps of how we're going to build on those 3 posts. Next, we're going to build on that foundation of those 3 posts, and we're going to add in some reels. Ideally, you want to post 1 to 2 reels on top of your 3 images. Don't show your reels on your grid though, or what you can do is you can replace one of the images and show it on your grid. So ideally you want to have those reels just show up on that reels page. And there's a few different reasons for this. Number one is, first of all, it makes it a little easier and quicker to create reels because you don't have to worry about them aesthetically fitting into your grid and messing up the look of your grid. Reels, you don't have to be quite as particular with how it looks. And also there is some speculation that you're going to get more visibility, that Instagram doesn't really count those as posts. So it's going to show it to more people and you're not going to get that content fatigue. So that is our recommendation. Of course, you can do what you want, but that ideally is for us having those 2 reels added just to the reels section on top of those 3 images every week. So adding in those 2 reels on top of your posts is typically the ideal strategy. However, your strategy is really dictated by your goals. So if your goal is more visibility, then you might want to shoot for even more than 5 posts a week. But unfortunately, if you post that much, sometimes what you can get is what's called content fatigue, where maybe that's going to result in less engagement and less follows. So again, it really depends on your goals. There's no right or wrong. If you don't really care that much about engagement and unfollows, you just want as many people to see you as possible, then you want to aim for more content. That equals more visibility. If you do want to make sure that you're getting that engagement, you don't want people dropping off followers, you really care about those numbers, then keep it in this 5 posts a week, 3 images and 2 reels. That to us is the perfect balance. Your reels and your content, of course, should always be created for your audience. And ideally, what you want to ask yourself is what message do I want to send? And probably even more importantly, what reaction do I want to get? So let's take a look at some of the reactions that you really want to elicit. I love that. I relate to that. That is so me. I didn't know that. Oh, I've never thought about that. That's cool. That's interesting. That's beautiful. That's funny. I want to have that. I want to do that. I want to be that. So that inspirational, aspirational, those are really big ones to help attract new followers and interested clients. This is my style. This is what I've been looking for. I need that. They understand me. They are like me. How did they get in my head? That's a great one because it's like if you can think of their problems before they even think of them, that's a great way to instill trust. And then finally, I want to follow, check out, or hire this company, which of course is always the ultimate goal. So these are the kind of things that you want to think about instead of worrying so much about what kind of content I'm going to create. Use these as your guide. And every time you create content, whether that's a graphic or even an image, of course, a reel, think about these reactions and ask yourself, would this post, would this reel, would this story elicit these types of reactions? So let's go ahead and look at some of the types of reels that you can post, but again, focusing on the main thing being your brand consistency and those reactions. But of course, a collage of your work or a specific event, before and afters are great. Tips, tricks, trends, and education, really showing that you're an expert in your field and really working on those hooks and taglines, testing those to see what works, see what people are really interested in, anything that you can address someone's pain point. And again, show them that you're the expert, you know what you're doing. Behind the scenes are great. Talking head video with you giving tips or tricks. Funny and relatable videos are always good. And then, of course, brand information, announcement, or reviews. Those, I think, reviews especially, I'm going to get into that in a minute, but I think those, personally, I think those should be reserved for your stories. And brand information, announcement, those should only really be every once in a while. You don't want your grid to be all about you. You really want it to be about the client. And again, really focusing on those reactions and really tapping into what your ideal client's needs and wants are. Another quick little pro tip here when it comes to creating reels or even graphics, don't reinvent the wheel. We all love Canva, so find a great Canva template and keep things really simple. Find templates that are aesthetically pleasing and match your brand, and then just rotate using the same templates, but tweak them slightly if needed. So maybe you have 2 to 3 templates you use for testimonials. Maybe you have 3 to 5 you use for tips and tricks and education. You've got 3 to 5 that you use for behind the scenes. Just keep rotating those. And again, when you change the images, maybe change the text a little bit, they're going to look different. Don't overcomplicate this. And then keep a link of that template within your content system. So you're in your Google Drive, or of course, I'm going to give myself another shameless plug here. Within your Simplify Your Socials dashboard, you can keep those links to those templates. And at Simplify Your Socials, we have a huge library of gorgeous, high-end, elevated Canva templates. So no more going through Canva looking for that needle in a haystack for a nice template, or buying templates on Etsy and then forgetting where they are. We've got a beautiful library. So again, keep things simple and don't reinvent the wheel when it comes to your reels and your stories. So to recap what we've gone over so far, you're going to implement those organized systems. So important. You're going to batch and schedule. You're going to post those 3 foundational images a week, and then we're going to add in reels. Ideally not put on your grid, keeping them on those reels page. Next step is we're going to talk about carousels. Carousels are going to increase engagement and help with the algorithm. You're going to replace one of your images with a carousel, or of course, if you're going for more visibility, then you could add a carousel in on top of those 3 foundational images. Educational and informational carousels are great. They're going to really help to establish you as that expert in the industry, let people know, let potential clients know that you know your stuff, you know what you're talking about. And of course, you can also, if you have the content to support it, change out some of those static posts for image carousels as well. As far as your covers, keep it simple, just like with the reels, either some simple text over an image or use those templates. Again, rotating them, just keep it simple. Don't reinvent the wheel with these carousels. If you are going to be using graphics or carousels with graphics, a good thing to remember is the rule of five. So we use this a lot for our clients, and that is if you post every fifth post, it's more aesthetically pleasing. It's not going to ever be anywhere next to another graphic. So I'm going to give you a few examples here. So you can see here, if you use that rule of five, you use either very simple text or a really beautiful template that still fits in line with your brand aesthetic, how beautiful this can really look. So we use that rule of five a lot. So that's something to think about if you want to add some tips or some educational or some announcements or something other than images to your grid. So another quick recap here, you're implementing those organized systems, you're batching and scheduling. You're posting those 3 foundational images a week, you're adding in reels, and then you're adding in 1 carousel every 5th post. And then finally, step 4, we're going to talk about stories. So I'm going to quickly go through just a few tips about stories. Think about, what do I want to show in my highlights? Because of course, you're going to share those stories then to your highlights. With stories, of course, you can be a little bit more casual, so you don't have to worry about putting together this perfect reel. You can do a quick behind the scenes or even a quick talking head and add that to your stories. Of course, stories are typically only shown to your followers. They can sometimes be shown in Explore, but it's not typical. In my opinion, testimonials are best in your stories. You could add them to your grid, but it's a great place to put your testimonials because then again, of course, you can add those to your highlights. You don't need to worry about content fatigue when it comes to stories. You don't need to worry about people seeing too much content and unfollowing you because they're really going to only go to those stories if they want to see them from you. And then, of course, you can look to those real ideas for content ideas for your stories. So ideally, what you're going to want to do is add in 3 to 5 stories if possible, but really, again, with stories, you can go crazy with those. You can add as many as you want without worrying about that content fatigue. So I wanted to add in a quick bonus step here, and that is nurturing. So many people are just focused so much on who is following them, but it's really just as important who you follow. So Instagram, social media, but Instagram in particular is a great place to nurture relationships within the industry. So make sure you're following important people that you want to know about you. Make sure that you're engaging with them, you're liking and commenting their posts. So again, it's not just about who follows you, but it's also about who you follow. So let's talk about your ultimate goal. And I know it's a lot of moving parts. And again, that's why I don't suggest that you go from 0 to 100 all at once. You really want to take these one step at a time. So, of course, we're starting with quality content. You're only as good as your worst post. So, quality over quantity, always, always, always. You want content that aligns with your brand and elicits those reactions. I want that. I want to hire them. I love that. All of those positive reactions. So we've got your 3 static posts, your images a week, those foundational posts. That should really be, again, the bare minimum. I know a lot of you are not even doing that much, and that's okay. It's one step at a time. That is something that we offer through AJ Business Solutions with our full service social media, super, super like stupid, cheap social media management, where we'll at least get those 3 foundational posts for you, and then you can build on that. So 1 carousel, replacing an image every 5th post, those 2 reels that are not added to your grid so we don't get that content fatigue. 5 or more stories added weekly. Again, I know that's a lot. All of this is a lot, but one step at a time. Again, regularly nurturing those relevant connections and then checking the analytics and adjusting accordingly, looking at what's resonating, what hashtags are working, what content's working, what's not. So again, this is a lot of information. It's a lot to do. I don't expect everyone to do that. These are the type of things that if you do hire a social media manager, that they're charging a lot for. Again, our service is super, super inexpensive, and we are kind of just doing that base foundational post for you so you can build on. So again, this is the ultimate goal, but remember, it's just one step at a time. Before I wrap up, I want to give you just a few quick things to think about. Even if you're doing everything right, this stuff takes time. And the only way to really speed things up is through boosting, through advertising. Meta's not stupid. Make sure you're using trial and error, especially if you're putting money into your social media when boosting or advertising. But even with your regular posts, use that trial and error, see what's resonating. Social media is not going to make or break your business. This is so important. And at AGA Business Solutions, simplify your socials. We often say we're in the peace of mind business, not the social media business, because people just get so stressed out about social media. It's not going to make or break. You just need to decide how big of a role you want social media to play. Do you want to just do those 3 foundational posts so you maintain a presence on social media and spend your time and energy on other things? That's perfectly okay. Really let go of the FOMO, let go of the worrying that you're not doing enough on social media. Just be realistic about your time and commitment. And of course, use those available resources and create those systems. So, if you are interested to hear what we have to offer at AGA Business Solutions and Simplify Your Socials, I'm going to go over that with you really quick before I sign off. At AGA Business Solutions is where we do our full service social media. And as I mentioned, our basic package is ridiculously affordable, like no brainer affordable. We do everything I showed you in step 1. So that's those fully optimized posts 3 times a week, all your tagging, your collaborating, your hashtags, everything. We offer a really easy and efficient system to help you get us all your content, no back and forth. It's a really cool system that we created. It's perfect if you don't want to deal with social media at all. And you really just want that peace of mind that you're staying consistent. So it's also a great for now option. So if you want to get to social media later on and add those reels and those stories and carousels and everything else, it's a great option. Or of course, you can have us do those foundational posts and then build on top of it yourself by adding reels and stories and all of that. Simplify Your Socials is the ultimate DIY social media management tool. You get a dynamic scheduling app, a really unique content management system. I showed you a little bit of that in the beginning of the video. That custom personalized AI assistant, a beautiful library of elevated Canva templates, training and support, which I think is one of the biggest benefits of our platform. We're not just going to throw you the tools and wish you luck. We're going to walk you through it. And it's incredibly affordable. There's no commitment. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Okay, thanks so much and good luck with your socials.